Hey everybody, this is Grace, and we are on our way to get my labs done, and then I'm going to go to an urgent care. And once again, man, if it's not one thing, it's another. But this is those feet, my feet and ankles, you know, had a bunch of edema in my legs, and then for some reason they turned red. I told one of those doctors. He just glanced over it and said, oh, it's because of that weight gain. I had gained a bunch of weight because of a pill that I was taking, and they didn't know that at the time, but I got off of it. Weight started falling off. It was water retention. I gained it fast, and I lost it fast. And under doctor's supervision, 2 of them. And anyway, the feet, there was another pill I was taking, and the feet, it was a diuretic. It's not used as a diuretic, but maybe so. And oh my goodness, dried up my feet and ankles, and it looks so and feels so bad. Dry, it's like old leather. Yeah, I'm just gonna, who knows? But anyway, on my phone. But yeah, this is my life. Okay. My appointment was supposed to be at 1 to do the labs. And they said get here at 12:45, 15 minutes early. Well, we got here way early. Went in anyway. And I said, we're real early. She said, that's okay. They took me in. Like right away, they hardly ever have any people there. Any of the places I go, you know, it's not like it used to be. You used to go to doctor's office or labs or whatever, they're packed, jam-packed, you know. Not anymore. Restaurants the same way. It used to be jam-packed, not anymore. But so we went in and got early. I got back up just now to my SUV. Remember what time I said? It's right now 12:21. And the bad thing is, I wanted to do this too, so I was hoping, like I told Adam before, he said, we're so early. I said, well, I'm hoping that they get my, do my labs fast, and then I can, be on time for my next appointment, which is at an urgent care. Yeah, since when do you make appointments for something to be urgent care? Apparently, yes, it happens. Anyway, my next appointment is at 2, so I would need to be there at 1:45. They don't say that though, but urgent care at 2, and it's now 12:22. I'm going to probably have to sit there and wait. Probably so, but for that appointment, because today is the day after Memorial Day, day after a holiday. I tried to call, yesterday and make the appointment. It's an urgent care. Nope, they were closed on Memorial Day, and I guess they take any federally funded and federal holidays off. I don't know. I always thought things like urgent cares, and because the insurance would say utilize the urgent care before going to the ER. If it's on a time when your doctor's not available. And they don't even say that. They just say do that. I guess they figure people can figure out, hey, if my doctor's not available, I'm going to go to an urgent care. Well, urgent care say, no, you don't come to us. We're here only for a few little things. You would think of something that's urgent care, they would be there for more than a few little things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you would think so. Now watch me go to it, wait all that time and go to it, and they'll say, oh, we don't do that here. They did that one time before. Okay, so what happened? Well, we went to the urgent care place, and it, I knew I was going to be that early. Okay, I got a phone call to reschedule, but basically I went to that place. they wanted, you know, I knew I was going to be early, the urgent care, and over an hour early, and they were going for lunch, and the woman told me that they're down to one provider during that lunch hour, and they have already scheduled us. And now I knew that, you know, there was this possibility. Anyway, I told Adam I'm going to go back and sit in the car. I didn't want to sit in there. And he was like, well, blah, blah. I said, look, that's you. You do what you do. I do what I do. He and I met married when I was 18. And I'll be 63 in about 10 days or so. And I'm like, you do what you do for you. You know, he doesn't get it. He does not get it. He's older than I, and he's from a country that part of their culture is that they boss women around. Well, this is Texas, and you don't do that here, period. Okay, and I'm Texan. He's not going to do that to me. I got really upset, and I just walked out. Well, he walked out, and I said, you know what, I'm going to make an appointment with my doctor, my regular doctor's office instead of an urgent care. Because, you know, some of the times you wait and you get in there. They said, well, like the last time I went to that place, they said, well, you need to see your own doctor. We're just here for little things. Well, you tell me, since when is a UTI, testing for a UTI, a big thing? A UTI is something common. I'm not a healthcare professional, so I don't really know. But I'm fairly certain it's rather common. And I had gotten the feeling like that they weren't well staffed. And, you know, I had been there a couple of times before then, and it was okay. But then the last couple of times, it was like something had dramatically changed. And they didn't want the MA, she told me. I didn't ask her. She just said that we only now get 15 minutes with per patient. 5 of it, she said, goes to me, the MA. And she said the provider, which are either PAs or nurse practitioners, the providers only get 10 minutes per patient in an urgent care. And believe me, that was the last time I went there. It was that time that she told me that. And it was poor. It was very poor. You know, a UTI. And it's going to be all that. You know, she was rushing me, and then she went and sat down herself, the nurse practitioner, maybe she's a PA. And she's rushing me. You know, because I had that possible UTI, and there was something else I was there for. You know, and they charged, you know, there was a man in there, and he was in a wheelchair, and his wife, I guess, was with him. And they were telling him how much it is to cost for out-of-pocket, for self-pay. And I think it's $200. I think that's what, you know, when I was listening to what they were saying. And he said, $200 for a visit? And then they don't have a doctor there. It's either a PA, physician assistant, or a nurse practitioner. I don't even know if they're a nurse practitioner or if they're a, you know, just, what's the difference? I don't know. Used to be so many different kinds of nurses. But anyway, she said, well, we are giving you a discount. It's $166. A discount. And then they don't do anything. Like I have insurance. I have really great insurance. I didn't pay anything. I would not have to pay anything. And like this one doctor's office, they told me, you don't even have a deductible. You got really great insurance. I said, no. And I really do. And guess what? Yeah, it's that one that so many people cut down, Obamacare. They still love to say Obamacare. And it's the best insurance I've ever had in Texas. And you got to know, in Texas, that's a big thing. It's a huge thing with the healthcare insurance, because people don't get it like they do in other states. There's one or two other states where it's different too. Yeah, so it's great insurance. Great insurance. Oh, don't listen to all the crap you hear, people. Seriously, just don't make everything political. Okay, we're back home now. Yeah, boy, it's been a busy day. But I don't know where I left off, but I have an appointment tomorrow at my regular doctor's office. She wasn't available until sometime in June. Same, and the nurse practitioner's there, which I prefer to see that doctor, because this is something they're going to have to give me referrals to and really know what they're talking about. I know nurse practitioners should know what they're talking about, but sometimes nurses used to be for the doctor, to help the doctor, like, medical assistants, but they actually went to school and all this, whatever. Medical assistants, they just go to school, from what I understand. The one that I know right now, she bragged about going only 6, she did hers in 8 weeks or something like that. I'm thinking, that's not something to brag about, really, because you're dealing with patients and serious health conditions, and they I could go on and on about that, and I think I have in the past, but anyway, I have to see the only one available was one of the doctors, and it's tomorrow. They wanted me to wait until Friday, which today is Tuesday, and I've been dealing with this for a while now, and part of it, with my legs being so dry, it's looking really bad. Part is, and my dad lost one of his legs to diabetes when I was back then it was junior high, called junior high, and then after, I guess I was in my early 20s, maybe, no, it was later in life. It was in my early 30s. He was about to lose his other foot to diabetes, and that's when he died in the hospital. My mother said he died from depression. I don't know, but he just couldn't live anymore. He didn't do anything to end it himself. He was in the hospital as it was, and they were about to take out of his appendix and his other foot, and I guess he gave up, she said, the will, but he didn't do anything, you know what I'm saying? So, but I don't want to lose a leg or a foot, He lost I say leg, but it was from under the knee when I was in junior high, and then later on. He was flat-footed and 6'7", built like a linebacker, real heavy, real muscular, and yeah, he had lost a lot of weight. They had him lose so much weight he looked like a skeleton, seriously, before he passed on. And he was on dialysis, kidney dialysis, and all that stuff. I want to see a doctor. I want to see one that's been, that has a clue, has seen something like this before, and for her to refer me to the correct, appropriate, Adam's saying dermatologist, I'm saying, yeah, but also podiatrist. So, to find out why this happened in the first place. And, I had a podiatrist, but one day I called to schedule another appointment. It would have been my third, and the person, they transferred me, whoever answered, she transferred me to somebody, and that woman was so rude. I asked, well, what's the street address there? Just innocently. I had no attitude, nothing. And it somehow triggered her, and she started saying, she said, you don't know where this street is, and I calmly said, you just lost the doctor, a patient. And that was it. Goodbye. Hung up. So she was triggered. Who wants to go to some doctor's office where they have employees that yell? And she was talking over me. I said, ho, like this, hold on a minute. And she just kept going off and yelling and everything, like, and plus part of it sounded like she was reading off of something. And I'm like, No, you just lost that doctor, a patient. Then later on in that day, I've told this story I don't know how many times. Later on that day, I had, I think, 2 phone calls, 2 weird phone calls. I didn't answer, or maybe I did one of them. It reminded me of this crazy woman I'd worked for at an insurance company. I was a student and doing a temporary job, and she was bonkers. She talked just out to the wind and just to the world. Nobody was standing there in a shed. They called it the smoke shack at that insurance company, and all of us were watching her, and she was talking to nobody, saying how when people disrespect her, what she did when she worked in the call center was take down their phone number and harass them and go to their house. And I mean, she went on and on what she did, saying she did that kind of thing. God, crazy woman. She reminded me of her. But anyway, that's enough. I was going to just add that part, that tomorrow I have an appointment. Hopefully it's they can do something, get me into some doctor, because it makes life miserable. It's kind of like sandpaper. That's the feel to it. I was thinking, I've said this in other videos, that white people, I'm a white person, call it flaky or scaly skin. It's not really either one of those. And African Americans that I've known have called it ashy. I think it looks more like ashy to me. It's like, ash from you see in a fireplace. But I think sandpaper would be also, and I told the doctor my way of feeling it was like, it's like old leather. And he said, yeah, he's younger than I, but I think he's 50 or something like that, in early 50s. And but yeah, I hope something good comes from this. Comes from going to see. I got to see a different doctor. That was the only one available, was the doctor. I don't know her. I never even heard her name before. They acted like I should have. Nope, I don't work there. I only saw one doctor there. So, but anyway, I want to see a doctor, because this is kind of serious. Any reason to go to a doctor is serious. But anyway, that's enough. Talk to you on another video. Bye.